What's your first game?
I'm looking at the USC San Jose State game. USC is only favored by 14 points going into this game. USC, had a pretty decent season last year. They were 5-1. They returned a lot of their starters. San Jose State was a nice story last year, but I don't think when it comes to talent-wise, they really can't hold the candle to USC. So I expect USC to not only beat the 14-point spread, I expect them to surpass it by almost double-digit touchdowns. So I think it's going to be close to about 20 to 30 points they're going to win by.
Yeah, and if you saw us Thursday on Sports Betting Weekly, we talked about the game only because the both teams are coming back fairly quickly, and it's tough. I mean, Thursday night, one of those two teams that played, Southern Utah, came back and played, and so it's tough when you're coming into a place like USC, because if you know West Coast football, there's some guys on San Jose State that didn't get in. USC didn't want them, so they ended up at San Jose State. That's kind of how the world works out here on the West Coast. You got USC, you got UCLA, and you got Stanford. And Stanford's tough, of course, for the kids to get into. So it really is a game where they should be probably given more than 14, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I imagine so. Like I said, I know San Jose State had a decent season last year. People seem to underestimate USC because they only played about 6 or 7 games, I believe, last year with the whole COVID issue. But they still were 5-1 in those games. They're still one of the better teams in the Pac-12. So I think overall, like I said, I think USC is going to run big on this game, and I think that would expect that they would win by at least like 20 to 30 points. Like I said, I think it's definitely going to surpass the 14 spread right now. I'm going to stick to local area, and I'm looking at that UCLA game and LSU game. LSU's only favored by 3. LSU had a kind of a struggle last year. Their defense was horrible. They made a lot of changes in the offseason, brought in a whole different defensive coaching staff. The offense returned some good players. And you look what UCLA kind of did. Chip Kelly's second run in the Pac-12 hasn't really paid off like you'd hope it for. They've been struggling the last couple of years. They lost a couple of key players in the draft this year. So I think LSU's once again definitely going to cover the spread. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown, if not more. I think this game is very, very being underestimated when it comes to the bettors. I can't believe LSU's only favored by 3.
Yeah, you know what? I remember quite vividly the Marcus Mariota years and Oregon at its finest. And I remember they had a guy get hurt right before one of the big playoff games. And his replacement, it was like 3rd and 7 for Oregon early in the game. And his replacement got hit right in the belly button, and he dropped the ball. They had a punt, and it was never the same. But his Oregon teams were exciting. He hasn't really gotten there at UCLA, but he's in a point where these are his guys now. He's been there long enough. These are his guys. It's so hard though, Chris, with that COVID situation to really hold that against anybody. It's almost like it's like you got to, like a mulligan. It's like you got to take a mulligan. Like in golf, you got to pick up the ball and start again. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I think a lot of ways you're right, but I also think that, Chip's been there about 3 years now, and he's one of the coaches in the hot seat that has to kind of turn that program around. I think UCLA expects a lot more, and they thought they paid this guy to do a lot more than he has been. So I think the program itself's a little frustrated where they are, even with the COVID situation.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Okay, let's look at one more game from you.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Sunday game. One of the other games is Notre Dame versus Florida State. Florida State had a really tough year last year. They only won 3 games. Notre Dame is ranked number 9 in the country. They did lose their quarterback in Ian Book. They did lose a couple of playmakers and the running back in the backfield. But overall, this Notre Dame team's still stacked. And comparable to Florida State's talent level, I just think this is going to be a no-brainer. The Notre Dame's going to once again cover the spread at least and then win by double digits. I think that Florida State really has struggled last kind of adjusting to the new coaching staff, the new system. And they played, a nice feel-good story having Milton, their quarterback Milton, who played for UCF a couple of years ago, where he tore his ACL on senior year, has a chance to redshirt kind of his senior year and extend his career. I love the guy. I hope he does well, but I think overall it's just not the same talent, and I think their game runs wild on this game. The
dude won 25 straight games, I think, at one point. That tries. So the UCF team, and it really is. Jimbo Fisher, boy, he made the right move, huh? They couldn't.
He got out just in time.
Woo! And he got the big payout. So good for him.